Let's roll.
Hello, hello.
Good morning, good morning.
And welcome back to the Room 734 podcast.
You're looking live.
You are looking live.
Looking live. So our special guest today is the very special guest, one of the greatest preachers in our lifetime, the great, awesome, wonderful brother Stephen, who's been like a second father in my life.
Clap it up. Do we have a clap button?
Yeah, we do have a clap button.
Yeah.
Let me hit that. And man that I've looked up to my whole life, Mr. Dr. Stephen Peeples.
Thank you for being on with us this afternoon. We really appreciate it very, very much.
Most honored. All the Lord.
This man, by the way, guys, is like the Nick Saban of preaching.
Not hard. Not hard.
The GOAT.
Far from it.
All right, so
Let's do it, man.
yeah, well, let's do it. We got some really interesting questions, and I feel like you're the perfect person to answer some of these. So let's get rolling into it.
All right, so brother Stephen, we've been talking about Zionism in our social studies class, and we have some questions for you that we'd like to ask you. And then the first question is, why is the spotlight always on Israel?
It's a good question. Israel has always been, as we said, the spotlight of the globe. And for one reason, there's always been conflict in Israel. It's been a reality ever since Israel became a nation. And so whether you look back over the course of history in the Bible, whether it was the Egyptians or the Amalekites or Midianites or Moabites, Ammonites, Amorites, Philistines, Assyrians, Babylonians, Persians, or Romans, the nation of Israel has always been persecuted by its neighbors. And then the question is, well, why is this? Well, according to the Bible, it's because God has a special plan for the nation of Israel. It's His chosen people. It's Israel's God when you stop and think about it. According to the Bible, it's because God has a special plan. And of course, we know the adversary, Satan, wants to defeat that plan. And so satanically influenced, there's satanically influenced hatred for Israel. And we're seeing that today. It's amazing. Right. And people that would surprise you, that would say they got this, all of a sudden, this hatred towards Israel or animosity towards Israel. But it's especially Israel's God is the reason Israel's neighbors have always wanted to see Israel destroyed. Again, going back to Bible time, whether it's Sennacherib, king of Assyria, Haman, official of Persia, Hitler, the leader of of course, Nazi Germany, or Rouhani, the president of Iran, attempts to completely destroy Israel. It has always failed, and the persecutors of Israel, they come and go. The persecution will remain, though, until the second coming of Christ. And as a result, conflict in Israel is not a reliable indicator of the soon arrival of end times, but it is certainly we're seeing the stage set in light of current events. So it is basically a nation that I believe is around the size of Rhode Island, one of the New England states, and yet it lies in the center of the globe, and it's always got focal attention on it. Again, just because I believe it's God's chosen people, and that means it is God, the Lord Jesus, the triune Godhead, that brings so much attention and animosity to our world. We've seen that even this past week. So, right. And I'd say more to come.
Yes, sir.
All right. So our second question is: so you've talked about the importance of Israel. So we also talk about there's the three religions of kind of that are very prominent in that region of the world. So why is Israel so important to Christianity, Judaism, and Islam?
Yeah, having been there many times, it's amazing that the three major world religions conglomerate in this one location, especially in Jerusalem. Again, you got Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. The rhyme, reason, rationale that they all focus on that. One, Jews consider the Temple Mount, the dome, the gold dome that you see in so many pictures, the holiest place on earth. The Islamics see it as the holiest Islamic site. Christians, of course, view the Holy Land as the Holy Land because of the birthplace of Jesus. His death, his burial, his resurrection took there. His earthly ministry took there. The disturbing thing is when you go there, as a Christian, you know that this is where Christ dwelt, his earthly ministry, and yet the Jews are blinded. Christ and all of the indications of who he was and what he did are there, and it's just like they just don't see it. Right. It'd be like going to Washington D.C. and saying George Washington never existed. I mean, what I'm saying it's kind of odd, but it is. They got scales on their eyes. They just don't see Christ as a Messiah. They're still looking for him to come back, and I'm thinking, no, he's already come. He's gone, and he's coming again. And you guys are still looking for the Messiah. But the Temple Mount is under control of the Jerusalem Islamic Waqf, and no non-Muslim can go in there. But on my first trip, I went there many years ago. It was on a Thursday. The call to prayer had happened, and all the Muslims were going inside the Dome of the Rock. And one of our guides was like, "We can go in," and I'm thinking, "Oh, this is going to be incredible." And we did. Of course, you got to take your shoes off and all this kind of stuff. But to go inside that thing and actually see it was a once in a lifetime, especially for a Gentile, to even go in to such of their holy site was incredible. But the closest that Jews can get to the former temple site is the Western Wall or the Wailing Wall, and I've been there many times as well. And they're there. You see them on pictures and maybe news, TV, what have you, praying, and they're doing their 3 times a day. I'm sorry, prayers, and so. But again, they're just so blinded. But all 3 major world religions, converge right there. And when I was there back in May, I was talking a lot, trying to be a gospel witness to some of the Jewish people and shops and what have you. And their big thing is, oh no, we can all be here, we can all be at peace with each other, we can all respect one another and all that. And my backdoor approach to sharing the gospel was, there will never be true peace until Christ is in the center of your heart. We experience that peace individually as a follower of Christ. But world peace is never going to happen until his ultimate return, and then all the things that follow after that, of course. But it's a hotbed, and it always will be. Right. The sad thing is the conflict that we're seeing today, and I may be jumping ahead, but will always be because of what took place between Abraham, Sarah, and Hagar. God had promised Abraham and Sarah that they were going to have as many descendants as the stars in the sky, sand on the seashore, and they were old in age, as we were very old in age, way beyond childbearing. And so they took matters in their own hands. Sarah orchestrates this plan. Abraham, her husband, you go sleep with Hagar, try to produce a baby. I mean, who would be in their right mind when you want to do such a thing? But they did. And then we have Ishmael and Isaac. Well, there you go. And we're dealing with Ishmael and Isaac, Israeli Palestinians, to this day, and there will never be no world peace in that situation. They can sign all the peace treaties they want. This is my personal opinion now. Some people may disagree. But it goes all the way back to that incident, and then we're living with that to this very day, and we'll live that to this very day, the conflict between the Israelis and the Palestinians.
Yes, sir.
I'm not trying to skip over
you're good.
To go before, but I do have 2 questions very quickly before we move on, because of things you just said. So just for clarification, Isaac would end up being the lineage to Jesus,
Israel,
while Ishmael was the lineage to
Palestine. What we would call modern-day Palestine.
Okay, yeah. And then my second question is, you talked about the Western Wall and how important it is to the Jewish people. What is the significance? Because I've seen, you talked about it being in the news quite a bit. What is the significance of people like the United States president going and visiting the Western Wall? I don't know if you've really, seen that, but I feel like that's a common thing.
It's a holy site. Of course, every time I've been to Israel, we always spend a lot of time there in that area. For the Jews, it's a holy site to go and pray. They see it as a very, very holy site for prayer. Once you get to the wall, if you're standing at the wall to your immediate left, there's a room that's inside there where you see all these Jewish rabbis in there. They're reading, studying the Torah. A lot of bar mitzvahs take place there at the Western Wall. I've seen many of them there. I guess it's just a special place of prayer. I've been there many times, and you can take what most people do. They'll write little prayer requests on slips of paper, roll it up, and there's just thousands and thousands of little pieces of paper that's stuck in those crevices. Right. A lot of time, if people know you're going, they'll give you prayer requests to take and all. Nothing magical about that. It's just, again, I see it just as a special place of prayer. And it is again, that foundational wall of the temple, which for Jews the temple was a very holy site, of course.
Well,
yes, sir.
Thank you.
All right. I'm glad that I got this question because, going to Israel and seeing all of these things with my own eyes is something that I definitely want to do at some point in my lifetime. But the question is, what have your experiences traveling to Israel been like? I know you kind of talked about it a little bit.
Yeah.
But
when you go to Israel, when I first started going, I likened it to going to an amusement park. Don't misunderstand the analogy. Meaning, when you go to an amusement park, you don't get to see all the rides, or you don't get to go everywhere. When you go there, it's usually a fast-paced trip. You cover a lot of land, a lot of territory. We typically go from north to south. We cover the entire nation, country. So there's a lot of things. I've been many times, and every time I go to somewhere I didn't go before.
Right.
Or if I go back to the same place, it's a little different, and I learn even more about it than I did the first time I went. So there's so much to see there. I was there in May of this year, and no sooner had we landed in Tel Aviv on a Sunday afternoon, they had bombed one of the landing, landing strips where the Tel Aviv major airport there. I knew nothing about it. People was sending me texts, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "Well, yeah, I'm fine. I don't know what's going on." So I learned quick. But that's a normal thing. Yeah. That one there, the Iron Dome didn't get. But typically Iron Dome gets any missiles that are there. So that whole week was a little tense because of what was still going on between Israel and Hamas up at the Gaza Strip. There was a lot of tension and a lot of missiles were being sent, but they were being intercepted.
Right.
All that to say, it's an incredible place for a believer. I would strongly encourage you, if you ever get the opportunity to go because it brings the Bible to life.
Yes, sir.
You're actually seeing what you've been reading. And then there's been many times it's been so surreal. I'll never forget one trip we were visiting the Mount of Beatitudes. And I literally sat on the Mount of Beatitudes. We was there for about an hour, and I read the Beatitudes on the Mount of Beatitudes. It was really crazy.
It's unbelievable.
So just really neat things. We have a lot of neat worship services on the Sea of Galilee. A lot of times we are on Sunday, we're there, so we take the group on a boat. We get out in the middle of the Sea of Galilee, have a service out there, and you begin thinking about all those stories and all the things that happen on the Sea of Galilee. The Galilean region is a really neat place. It's very low-key, very calm. I would say it's not rural, but it has a rural feel.
Right.
And that's where Jesus spent a lot of his earthly ministries in the Galilean region. Another good element is visiting a lot of archaeological sites. So it's a lot of archaeological, restorations going on. Tons of archaeologists are there, constantly digging and finding things. Now, for some people that might be boring, but this past time these were some new things that I never got to see. We were going to some of the synagogues. When you study the New Testament, over and over and over again, you see where Christ was teaching in the synagogues. Well, we just think a synagogue. No, there was a chain of it was explained to me there were so many synagogues around in that Galilean region, in the Nazareth region, all over, where he taught and was physically there teaching. And so we stood at the remains of one that he taught. Yeah. He was there. And the digs are very carefully done. It's a big deal. If there was a hotel that was built right there, it was halted, stopped, had to be totally relocated off a site where there was a lot of archaeological stuff that they discovered. So that becomes, it's a governmental rule, law, whatever. You can't continue to build. So there's just so many things that you see, you discover. When you come back and you start reading Scripture again, you're like, oh gosh, it's just a whole different. Now I was there. Geography plays such an incredible part in God's Word, and we can easily overlook the geography, but it's there for a reason. Culture, all that kind of stuff. But all that to say, it is
there's so many favorite sites I like,
Right.
but they're all good. They all have a special spot.
Right. Yes, sir.
That makes sense?
Yes, sir.
It's awesome.
So this question also kind of ties into what you just said. What are some of the most interesting locations that you have visited in Israel, and what makes those places so important?
Off the top of my head, I like the old city of Jerusalem. Inside the city walls, it's very confined, and there's just thousands of people usually in there. You're just shoulder to shoulder all the way through the old city. The Via Dolorosa is there, so you're walking the way to Calvary. Again, Christ was all over that place in that particular domain. Going to the Garden Tomb area is a very special place. We've usually had services, communion, Lord's Supper there. Calvary's Hill. Again, the Galilee region. There's just so many areas that hold a very, very special place. Even the Judean desert. One time I took an excursion to the Judean desert. I think it was like in the February or something. It was very cold, very cold. And we left Jerusalem early that morning, drove out to the Judean desert, and we had a time of, what do you want to call it, fellowship, we'd say, with Bedouins. So the Bedouins they're still wanderers. They're still there. There's just tons of Bedouins there. And I could see where David wrote many of the Psalms out there. Quiet, peaceful, just vast lands. The stars are so vivid. There's no city lights, all that kind of stuff. So you could just see where the Holy Spirit of God just resonated in his heart and mind and just rolled the Psalms out there in the Judean desert. And again, all the archaeological remains are Capernaum, the temple where Jesus taught. All these sites are just very, very Nazareth, the boyhood place of Jesus, the shepherd's field right outside of in Bethlehem where the birth of Christ was announced. All these things, every one of them just speak to you.
And I guess that's the best way to put it too. Is like it brings the Bible to life.
Yeah,
it really does.
Yeah.
I mean,
did you ever go to Jordan River?
Oh, yeah. Okay, yes. So we do baptisms in the Jordan River. So there's a lot of people, they want to get baptized in the Jordan, and so we've done many baptismal services there in the Jordan.
That's awesome.
That's a neat area, too. Jericho, very hot, but just that Jericho is more in the southern plain area. The Dead Sea area, that's another, been to the Dead Sea, that's another neat place. Very hot, though. Good grief, it's there. Masada. Where Herod had one of his empires built on top of Masada, which is a massive, I'm talking massive. You have to ride a, what do you call them things, a trolley car type thing to get all up to it.
Wow.
And then there's the archaeological remains of this massive city that Herod built up there. It's just unbelievable. How did he do this? There wasn't like modern day, technology and equipment and all that kind of stuff. And we visited some other sites of Herod's. It would just blow your mind. I mean, how did they do this?
Right.
It's mind-boggling. When I first started doing the archaeological stuff, we'd stop, and the guy would just go on and on and on. It'd kind of be, you could let it be boring if you wanted it to, but then the more I got into it, I'm thinking, no, this really exposes a lot of things. You just try to vividly picture in your mind what this would have looked like, So even those things in your Bible that's got the maps and those pictures, those things are pretty cool. They take on a whole new meaning, because you're like, for that era of time to do what they done and how they done it is
incredible.
Indeed mind-boggling.
That's awesome.
Everywhere you go is just an aha moment. It really is.
That's really interesting.
I hope to go back. I'd planned on taking. Well, matter of fact, when October the 7th took place, I was leaving on the 9th. I had 19 people. We were packed, ready to go. The 7th took place, with all the killing and everything, and that kind of changed plans.
What time of year do you usually take them? Is it around the fall? Usually when you go?
Usually the spring. We've gone at different times, but the spring is one of the best times to go because the weather's really nice. It's kind of like our spring.
Okay.
It is there.
So I know that you've already kind of briefly, talked about some of this stuff and answering some of the other questions. But have you seen firsthand the effects of the Israel-Palestine conflict at all when you've been there?
Very firsthand. So when we were there in May, one day we went to right with the Gaza border. And so I was there with a delegation that was made up of religious leaders and some political folks, some of our state representatives. So we went there and to the Gaza, not far from Gaza. I could see Gaza from where we stood, the barbed wire border, all that. We've literally walked through the kibbutz. Now, kibbutz is, if you're not familiar with that, is like a Jewish communal living. It's like a compound, we would say. Their houses is there. They got dairy farms. They live inside this commune. I would just call it that. But it's a kibbutz. So that kibbutz was the one that Hamas raided. So a gentleman that lived in this area and was there that day, and his family was held hostage from about 6:30 in the morning until 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon. He told his story, and so we're standing there in this kibbutz. There was a one little area that these 11 Israeli soldiers would come to periodically and camp there, and then they'd go on. But they happened to be there the day this took place. So there was these 11 Israeli soldiers, and then you got the security people inside the kibbutz. They pretty much operated things while they were being attacked, and most of them got killed that day. So this guy was telling his story about other families that got killed, and we walked right by their houses. There's still bullet holes all in these houses. There's big banners of the people that got killed. He told story after story of how this 16-year-old boy they would wanted to use him to go to different homes and knock on their doors, so they'd come out and they'd shoot him. And he was continuously making up stories about them not being there. He saved a lot of people's lives, but then he lost his life later on. So we go to this guy's house where him and his family was held hostage. They came in the south area of the kibbutz, and he said, I saw these guys coming in. He first saw they were Israeli soldiers, but he goes, no, they're not dressed like Israeli soldiers. And he kind of realized, no, this is something is not right. So they go to all these people have like these little rooms called safe rooms. They went to their safe room, got buckled down there. They came in their house. Only by the act of God, they didn't try to get into the safe room. There was no way to explain it. But and he just told his story. And the whole time he was telling it, throughout probably for a couple hours, he was telling all these stories. He was literally just shaking. He was still dealing with true post-traumatic
I was about to say
syndrome, whatever.
Right.
I felt so sorry for him, and his family still hadn't come back at that time in May of the year. They hadn't come back. They were still staying somewhere else. They were still traumatized by it. So yes, I mean to see that, and then to hear there was still bombs going off while we were there over there in Gaza. No, we weren't in Gaza, but you could see it. And then to hear all these stories, and then throughout the week at dinner, probably 3 or 4 times we had family members of hostages or family members of those who were killed as hostages give their story. It was their brother or their mom or their dad. Usually, because it was young people. Oh, after we left that site, we went to the music festival site where all those thousands of young people were killed. Remember that? So we went to that site. It's a massive memorial now. Thousands were killed there, mostly young people, a lot of young people that had gone to this music festival thing. A guy that was 24 years old, he told his story. He survived, and he shared with us what happened that day. He walked through it from the beginning of the music festival to the time he and a buddy his got out, and they literally walked for miles and miles through this riverbed to get to rescue. I come back from all that, and still it's traumatizing for me, and I can't imagine what it had been like having been there that day. And we went to Tel Aviv. They have this thing called Hostage Square in Tel Aviv. Tel Aviv, of course, is a massive city, but in the big center part of the city is this massive square like people would just go to, like the big cities.
Right.
They turn that into, they call it Hostage Square, still to this day, and they've got this massive time clock up there that's still counting the days and hours and whatever the people are still held hostage. Banners are all over the nation of these hostages that are still being held. At that time, there was like 50-something, and they indicated probably more than half are dead. Still, they're thinking a few are still alive. And I pray daily that those people or those remains would be released.
Right.
I can't imagine if that was your loved one. Think about it.
Seriously.
I can't imagine how they even, because Hamas they're evil people. So how they've survived, what are they eating, how are they living, all that stuff goes through my mind.
Yeah.
The mental, I can't imagine the mental anguish that these survivors, the ones that are still there, even those that got out already, the rest of their life, they're going to be, that's pretty heavy.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yes, that's just a very, there ain't even no comparison to what those people deal with daily. When we were in Tel Aviv, but the day before we left, we had a free afternoon, and I went down about 10 blocks to this spot, and I was walking my way back, and the air raids go off. And I've seen enough of the news to know, oh, that sounds like those things that go off when the bombs are coming. So I slid inside this souvenir store that was about 3 doors down from our hotel, and I asked the guy, I said, is that what I think it is? And he said, yes, just come with me. So we, again, every building, every place has a safe room. So we go to this safe room, and he goes, it'll be okay. And I said, I'm sorry that you guys have to deal with this.
Every building with a safe room?
Yeah. Wow. And he said,
that is crazy.
He said, oh, this is just, I've been here 30 years. This is how we live. He kind of like shrugged it off, and he goes, I'll tell you what's going to happen. You've seen all these people out, in the cafes, they're out in the little, you see outside, they're in their tables, they're drinking their coffee. He says the air raids go off, they go inside. 10 minutes pass, everything gets clear, we go back out, pick up the coffee, keep on talking like nothing ever happened. And sure enough, that's what went on.
Wow.
It's just, it's their way of life. In the kibbutz, there's bomb shelters, not below the ground, but above the ground bomb shelters. I went in some of those things. It's pretty incredible. So they are every so many feet. So the guy in the kibbutz said, so if we get up in the morning, we're going to walk from our house to, let's say I need to go to the dairy farm or wherever I'm at, I'm going to plan my walk. Or if we're just going to go out for a walk, I'm going to plan my walk because if the air raids go off, I've got 10 seconds. 10 seconds to get to a bomb shelter. In Jerusalem, further inland, you got 10 minutes to get to your safe place. But they're up there by the Gaza border, they got 10 seconds. He goes, so everything we do in a given day, we're planning our walk or our destination, no matter what we do. If the air raids go off, we got 10 seconds to get in a bomb shelter. And they live that way. I mean, that's up there by the Gaza border. But even all over the whole country, we just have no clue. We really don't.
Right.
The Iron Dome, though, Trump's talking about Iron Dome. We need an Iron Dome because those things work. I can't remember the stat on those things, but I mean, the number of missiles that those Iron Domes stop from hitting is incredible.
Yeah.
It's absolutely incredible.
Yeah. I don't want to say any false information, but I'm pretty sure, hasn't there been talks, I don't know if any of y'all know, about North America having some kind of technology like that? Like Canada, U.S., and Mexico kind of sharing some.
I've heard the Trump administration talk about what do you do to build those things, however it happens. But yeah, I've heard that.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
And we do have the technology for that.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised that we don't have something like that in the U.S.
We probably do.
I mean, if they didn't have those in Israel,
true.
Honestly,
yeah.
they'd be bombed all the time. I mean, bombs would be hitting all the time.
Right.
Yeah. So we also thank you for all of that because you have a perspective on it that none of us have.
Not many people have that perspective.
Yeah. So thank you for all of that.
It's a good place to go if you ever get a chance. I know it's right now. And here's another thing: they rely on tourism. I mean, that's their industry. The tour guy that I've used many, many times, I got to meet with him while I was over there. Munzer, he's one of the best. But you think about tour guides, the buses, because we always take tour buses, the hotels, the food industry, the souvenir industry. All of that stuff suffers when tourists is not there. So they're we went to Bethlehem. Munzer and I went out one night to go eat while I was there, and he took me to Bethlehem. That's Palestinian, so you have to cross the border there, and there's all kinds of checkpoints you got to go through to get to Bethlehem. But it was desolate, and I've been there before when it's just bustling. The birthplace of Christ is there, just dead. There's just nobody around. I was like, Munzer, what do people do when there's stuff going on like this? Because, most people have some type of secondary make do, get by the best you can means of income. But it's tourism is one of their main industries in not only agriculture, but their agriculture is incredible. Their produce can't light a candle. Ours is massive. It's beautiful. It's just all their produce is incredible. But all that to say, if you ever get a chance to go, go. You're safe. They know that tourism is their big deal, so they want tourists to be safe while they're there.
Right, that's a big focus for
I always
them.
tell people I can get shot in my living room here in the United States.
Yeah, you got that right. That's true.
But so seriously, thank you. Like I said, you definitely have a perspective on it that very few people, especially in the United States, have. So that's really valuable.
It's important for people to hear that because, I mean, your average American probably knows that there's conflict going on over there, but to what extent it's insane that only certain people who have been there and seen it firsthand can really truly explain that to somebody.
It's sad with any war, even the Gazans. We see this stuff on TV. I feel for the innocent people, Israeli, Palestinians. It doesn't matter. I feel for the innocent people that are suffering.
Yeah.
Because of this. But on the same token, I feel that Israel knows they cannot bow down to Hamas. This is a war that they're going to have to. That's who they're fighting, the terrorists. But unfortunately, so many innocent bystanders are victims of circumstances. That's the sad thing.
Yes, sir. All right, who's got the next one?
So I guess before we move on, is there anything else that you want to share at all, or are we?
Well, to wrap that section up, I would just say, in light of all world events and current events, for me, it's bittersweet. Bitter in that there's suffering, there's death, there's just all this evil stuff that we're seeing. It's sweet because it's very much indicative of our Lord's return. And so for me, it's like the stage is being set further and further every day of the fact that our Lord is returning. Of course, his next return is just in the air. That's the rapture of the church, but it's not his second coming. But it's got to be getting close. You just think so. Yeah. Some people go, hey, that's been going on for thousands of years. Well, maybe, but
it sure feels that way.
It feels that way.
Yeah. So
but another thing would be for us believers, that means our mission needs to be put in turbocharge.
Right.
And that is we need to be sharing the gospel. That's the only hope of this whole world. And so for me personally as a follower of Christ, for me it expedites my need to be a gospel witness, a Great Commission Christian, even more so now than ever before.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. So we want to, as the guest on our show, we also want to know some things about you. So you have some very valuable experiences, and also just kind of like in your personal life. I've heard you talk at different things, and you've got some valuable experiences. And I got to know you a little more over the summer at Next Camp, and then also when we ran the Peachtree together.
Yes.
So I've kind of learned some of your personal interests. So we want to ask you some things about you.
Yes.
So I know you love running. I know that. Even my brother Sam wanted to run with you once.
He did. He didn't last too
Postel actually loves running as well.
No.
Hey, listen, me and you both, brother.
Now, look, to set the stage, my brother Sam was a big guy.
Yeah.
Big dude.
Yeah.
And he one day was like, you know what? Hey, I want to go running.
Youth camp.
This is youth camp. He's like, you know what, preacher? I want to go run with you.
Yeah.
Didn't last.
No.
Didn't make it.
Dude, I wouldn't either, man.
No, not at all.
Dude, hey, also, I hate to interject right here, but somebody very special to me will be very upset if I don't mention this. Because I promised her that I would. My girlfriend Anna, and it kind of ties into what we're talking about, but my girlfriend Anna, shout out Anna. Shout out Anna. Yeah, clap it up. Clap it up. But we were golfing on Sunday, and she actually made her first hole-in-one ever. Clap it up. Clap it up.
Oh, wow.
Yep, on hole 12 at Oak Mountain Golf Club. 115 yards.
That's awesome, man.
She hit a 7-iron, and it bounced 3 times and went in the hole, and we went ballistic. And obviously, as you do, sprint down to the green.
Oh,
you leave the cart.
You leave the cart.
And you sprint down to the green. And whenever we got down there, we saw that the ball was in the hole. I mean, we saw it go in, and then I had to go back up the hill. If you've ever played at Oak Mountain, hole number 12 is downhill.
It's a steep hill now.
So I had to go back up the hill and grab my phone, and I was gassed after that. I was worn out after that. So, yeah, I'm by no means a runner at all. But yes, we want to hear about that.
So, it's funny. I actually do want to know about this. So how did you get into running, and how has running helped you manage your health?
Okay. So this goes back many, many years. So prior to being called into ministry, I was serving the corporate world, so worked in the corporate world for over 10 years. Then God called me. I went on staff at the church I kind of grew up in, and there were some stressful periods there. And so a buddy of mine that I went to school with, he was on staff at the church as well. So after about 4:30, 5 o'clock, we'd knock off at the church, and then we just felt like, you know what, we just need to go for a walk. So we developed this. Callahan's a small city, but we just kind of developed this. We call this circle. I don't know how many miles it was. We just walk it every afternoon. We'd talk, just get things out, vent. It was a good iron sharpening iron walk. And then one day I said, well, you know what, Stephen? His name was Steve. I said, why don't we just jog this? Let's see if we could jog it. And so we did, and that started the run. And so
that's awesome.
We would run pretty much. I don't know if we run every day or not. I can't remember. So long ago. And then after I moved up here, Russell Butler. You remember Russell Butler? He was a member of our church, and he did the Peachtree every year. I came up here in 1998.
That was a good year.
And
that was a great year.
Was you born that year?
That was,
yeah.
You was. It was my first visit. Anyway.
I can't believe you forgot about that.
Yeah. You was my first visit. 1998. So 99, Russell goes, why don't you run the Peachtree? Well, I'd never run a 10K before. That was like, I never done this. So I've been running the Peachtree since 1999. Wow. So Russell Butler got me started on that. And every year since. It's kind of one of them things when you start it, for OCD people like me, you just can't stop it.
Right.
So I'm like, Lord, please keep me healthy so I can keep doing this. But so I do that. And then I started doing some little 5Ks around town and stuff. I would run in between days. I had major back surgery in November of 2020. So I had a fusion, a laminectomy, 2 rods, 8 screws in my lower back. And I thought, gosh, my running days may be over. But the back doctor, the surgeon that I used up at St. Joseph, he goes, I'll get you running again. And I said, really? Because I got to where I was debilitated. I could barely walk, much less run for a period of time. My quality of life was really shrinking. And when he told me he could get me running again, and I'm like, that's music to my ears. And so sure enough, I had surgery in November 2020. Then COVID was going on. My wife dumped me off at the sidewalk of St. Joseph Hospital on a Monday morning at 5 a.m. because nobody could go in the hospital and all that kind of junk. The cupcake chase, okay? So that was in March. Yeah. So I had my surgery in November. I walked the cupcake chase. I had a back brace on, all kinds of stuff. So I thought this would give me a benchmark anyway, if I can, number one, get through it. But then how long did it take me to do this? So I did the cupcake chase in that March of 2021, and I ran the Peachtree in July.
Wow.
I did a run-walk thing.
That is awesome.
And then I got back to running. He told me he would, and sure enough.
Yeah. Well, that is awesome for you, not for me. I wouldn't like that.
Same. That's why I went off as a lineman.
All in all, plus I'm a diabetic, so I wear an insulin pump. So diet, exercise is key to fighting diabetes and keeping your A1C where it needs to be. I know that. So that's another. I'm in the gym every day. Friday's pretty much now my run day. So it's just a good way of managing my diabetes and trying to stay healthy. The older you get, I talk to these older guys that are very active, and they may be 80 years old. They look 60. I'll go, tell me what your secret is. Stay active.
Right.
You just got to stay active. You got to stay active. You got to stay at it. Stay exercising. Diet, all that. So that's my motivating factor.
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
Yep.
So cool. You already, I mentioned that we ran the Peachtree together this year, and that about killed me. Yeah, that was hot that day.
It was a hot day.
So I kind of want to group 2 questions here. So with our experience we have a funny story about a parking situation if you want to share that story. But also, what is your favorite race to run and why?
That's a good question. For me, once you do the run, it gets in your head. So you know the track. Like, so for example, the Rooteville Homecoming Festival, whatever they call it, that runs Saturday.
Right.
So I'm already in my mind, because they changed the route a couple years ago. In my brain, I've already got it in my head. So I know these certain hills that I'm dreading already. And Saturday's not even here yet. It's a mental thing. But I like the Peachtree Road Race. I guess because of the people. It's weird. There's a bunch of weird people there. You understand that. You saw that. But they get you through the thing. So I got it in my brain, like mile 1, mile 2, 3. It's all in my head. For me, running is more mental than it is physical in some respects. Mm-hmm. You know, I mean, you kind of get you got to get through it. When I hit the Shepherd Center, I really do. I break down emotionally because I see those people there. They're lined up all along there, and every one of them's got a story. I can only imagine, and then when your dad's very special to me and all that. So that just gets to me, and I'm thinking, you know what? I'm doing this. I'm running this in honor of these folks that can't run. Right. As long as I can. It's a fun run. No, I take that back. It's not a fun run. It's a challenging run. But when you get done with it, it's a great feeling of accomplishment. Mm-hmm. Some years are harder than others, especially when it's hot. Yeah. I mean, this year was hot.
It was intense.
It was brutal hot.
Yeah.
Those aren't fun. I mean, you get through and you're just about dead. Then you got to walk 2 miles back to Marta. Mm-hmm. But that is a funny story. So we parked at where did we park at?
It was at the College Station.
College Station, whatever it is. Yeah. So and I've always done
College Park.
College Park. I always park at Holmes and ride in. But you guys had that's a great idea. I like parking there. It's much easier. It's one straight shot. But when we got there at the crack of dawn, remember, and we parked in what was supposed to be the compact. I got a truck, so it was a compact car zone, which my truck fit. We fit. Yeah. I didn't want to try to make it fit. It fit. I had the lines and all this. We get back, and we can't get out because my truck just won't make the turn. There's no way to do it. I'm thinking
you had to make like a 30-point turn.
Exactly. I mean, no joke. I was there. You guys was in one guy was in the front, was in the back, and we literally 25
inches
minutes.
At a time.
It took us inches at a time. For one moment, I thought we're not going to get out of here.
And I could really visually see you doing this right now, and you freaking out.
I was getting a little nervous.
No, I could tell that. I could tell he was a little stressed.
I'm thinking these cars beside us, they may have flown somewhere because a lot of people park there to the airport. So I'm thinking. They could be on the other side of the United States. May not get him back for days. Yeah. How am I going to get out of here? I'm not going to sleep in College Park.
They could be taking a trip to Israel for all we know.
Yeah. This is true. Yeah. But thank the Lord. Prayer, man. I was praying hard. You man got
Oh, my goodness.
Please, Lord, you got to get us out of here.
Yeah.
You did. We inched our way out.
So, and speaking of that story, my brother-in-law, Russ Denny, was there. He is a faithful listener to this podcast.
Shout out to Russ. Shout out to Russell.
I will know if he listened to this episode if he mentions this to me. So
Russell.
Shout out.
Russ was hopeful. He was like, we can do this.
Oh, he was the one that was like, he believed. And I was kind of thinking, I don't know, we might have to wait till these people get back. And they were like, no, we got this. Russ was like, we're going to get out. So
that's awesome.
All right. So the last question. So, and I will say this. I haven't had the privilege to meet you a bunch of times, but I will say Coach Postel did invite me last year to the seafood boil.
Low Country Boil.
Yes, the Low Country Boil. And I got to say, being in the sanctuary with all those men and worshiping, awesome. It was incredible.
Awesome, it is.
Yes, sir. So I just wanted to thank you and tell you that I really, really enjoyed that afternoon.
Well, Scotty Burks, he puts all that on. He's our men's director, and that's a vision that's grown tremendously.
Shout out Scotty Burks.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, it was
you the man.
It was incredible. The three of us were there. My co-teacher, Cody Campbell, was there with us, and his little son. It was an amazing afternoon. So thank you for that.
Yes.
Reading this question, have you become a granddad recently?
Yes.
That is incredible. Congratulations.
It is. So the grandchild number 5 was born June 12th.
Wow. Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So the question in itself is, how did becoming a granddad impact your life?
So my first grandchild was Judah. He's 9 now, 4th grade, hard to believe. The way I describe it is, it's like, as a parent, I've had 2 daughters, precious daughters. I love them dearly, and it's been a blessing all these years. But when they become a parent, you become a grandparent, it's like starting all over again, right, but differently. Because you're not the parent, but still, there's a level of responsibility that you feel as a grandparent that's just, again, overwhelming. And then you're watching your child and son-in-law, in this case, parent. And I'm one of these, my wife and I both, we've never been one to get in their business, interject, thoughts and stuff. And if they ask me, I'll certainly respond. Sure. But watching them parent has been an interesting thing, because parenting is not easy. Mm-hmm. It's a lot of trial and error. It's a lot of, I hope I'm doing the right thing, a lot of prayer.
Yes, sir.
So my biggest concern with my 2 daughters was their salvation. And I'd prayed for their salvation and their future mate the moment we found out we were expecting. Mm-hmm. So before they was ever born, I was praying for their salvation and their future mate. And God has answered those prayers. They come to know Christ at a young age. They both married God-fearing young men. My son-in-laws are great, and I love them dearly, and I'm thankful for them. And now I'm doing the same thing with my grandkids. I find myself, I'm praying for their salvation. Judah and Tinley have come to know Christ. There's 3 more to go. But that's the biggest thing. You want them to get their eternal security in, and then if the Lord tarries, who they marry, if God wills for them to marry, is their next biggest decision, because it's a lifelong decision until death does do part. Yeah. So I'm praying now for their salvation, the 3 that's left, and to receive Christ, and then for their mate. So a big responsibility. I didn't have grandparents growing up; they were deceased, so I never knew what my grandparents were like.
Sure.
So not having had a grandparent, not knowing how to be one, I've just watched others, and then I wanted to give my grandkids what I didn't have. And that is not spoiling them. Like we all grandparents talk about, let them do whatever they do.
Sure, yeah.
I am a little softer on them than I was my daughters, I'll confess. Yeah. But on the same token, I know that they need to be taught responsibility. They need to be disciplined and all that kind of stuff in order for them to make it in life. Mm. So the beauty of a grandparent is you're getting to pass down life wisdom. Mm-hmm. I hope they'll listen.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes, sir.
But life wisdom. I was talking to an 81-year-old pastor today, and he's kind of in an interim type situation. But I told him, I said, I want to learn. I always want to learn from the older generation, because you guys have been around. He's been pastoring since he was 16 years old. He's 81 now. You've got ministry experience. You got life lived wisdom that you can pass down. That we coming behind you, we need to know and need to hear. So it's an awesome thing. I hear grandparents say this a lot of times. Some people may disagree with me on this, but a lot of grandparents will say, "Gosh, if I had my grandkids first, I'd have never had my kids." And I told my daughters one day at Sunday lunch, I said, I scared them to that. I said, I got something I need to tell y'all about. And they were like, "Oh my gosh, what's he gonna say?" And I said, I told my daughters, I want y'all to know that sometimes that statement is said, and I'm thinking, what does that tell the kid?
Yeah. Right, yeah.
You're right.
That's weird. I said, I want y'all to know I love y'all, and I am grateful that God graced us with you. And I don't think of you being any less than my grandkids, than the kids y'all have given us. Right. They're all on loan from the Lord. But all that to say that I'm grateful for you guys, and I love you my daughters, very, very, very dearly. And I'm thankful that God has so graced us now with grandkids. All of them are very different. It's funny to watch how different they are. Boys are so different than girls, and girls are different than boys. But I'm just thankful that God's allowed me, the privilege of being what I didn't, have growing up. I come up in a very dysfunctional home life. So there was no order, no stability, nothing growing up. And so the Lord has graced me by allowing me to have a wife and kids and now grandkids and sons-in-laws. It's just the grace of God.
Yes, sir. Amen.
That's awesome. So we're gonna save that question for last.
Okay.
We wanna end on a high note.
Absolutely. Yep,
So
that's right.
We're gonna save that one for last.
It's time for a fan favorite.
So one of our segments, and we were telling you about this earlier, it's called the post office, and Postel will take us to a place, and
He's going to take us to a place
so we've
in our minds.
we've been talking about Israel in this episode, but we've also talked about that in class a lot. We should have saved Israel for this week, but we did it last 2 weeks ago, maybe. So my thoughts for choosing the United States, which is where we're going, is just kind of like the recent events and kind of like, we were reflecting on 9/11 in our last episode, and it's just kind of felt like just like a time to remember the good things in the U.S. because, a lot of times, and I'm guilty of it, we talk about the bad things that happen here, and they do, but we're also really blessed to live in a country where we have freedoms and things, because we're, what you were talking about with Israel and the Israeli-Palestine conflict, like there's innocent people, and like you said, on both sides that you feel so sorry for because they don't have.
They're just affected by it.
They're just caught in the crossfires of it, and they don't have the freedoms that we do in America. So that's why, not to get too deep, but that's why we are going to the United States and the post office today. So
Dude, clap it up, man. Clap it up for the post office. There we go. All right. Take us away.
Okay, so first off, preacher, I have this deep, I have a deep voice, and I have this Nat Geo voice, and apparently students love it, and so we're just rolling with it.
Let's go.
You ready?
Let's go.
You ready?
Maybe I'm scared.
You should be maybe just a little bit, but no, it's like whenever he does this, I can just imagine like drone footage of like a flyover of just nature. It's so good. All right.
Here we go.
Take it away.
You're looking live here on 734 Podcast, and we're taking a trip to the United States, where we're located right now. From sea to shining sea. From sea to shining sea, a vast and restless land stretches across the North American continent. Here, towering mountains pierce the clouds. Endless plains ripple like golden oceans, and mighty rivers carve paths that have carried life for millennia. This is the United States of America. Forged by revolution, expanded by ambition, and tested by conflict, the nation thrives on contrasts. Its desert burn with silence, while its cities blaze with neon and noise. In one moment, a bald eagle soars above snow-capped peaks. In the next, a spacecraft launches skyward. Golly. A spacecraft launches skyward, piercing the very heavens. The people of this land are as varied as its landscapes, woven together from countless cultures, yet bound by the shared pursuit of freedom and promise. Innovation pulses like a heartbeat, driving progress while traditions echo through generations. The United States is not merely a country. It is an ever-shifting story, wild, complex, untamed, forever seeking what lies just beyond the horizon.
And there you have it, folks. That is the post office. Thank you.
That is gold.
Thank you,
every
Postel.
single time.
Thank you, Postel, for taking us on that journey.
Did you write that post out?
He did.
No.
He actually writes all of these.
I did not write this at all.
All right. It's actually funny because we want him not to read it beforehand because I think it's hilarious, which, I mean, I would too, but I think it's hilarious whenever he kind of trips over some words a little bit. And
That's pretty.
I'm not the best
wordy
reader.
there.
It's
I ain't the
because of the
best
way
reader.
that it's written, though.
Yeah, no, it is.
Like what caught me was when spacecraft watching Skyward. Like what?
That made me laugh.
Spacecrafts.
What? Is it not spacecraft? It is spacecraft.
It is.
Okay,
It's
let's make sure I said that
spacecraft.
word
Oh, yeah.
right.
Very good.
You're good.
All right, so let's see. We are at the 55-minute mark, so we'll try to wrap
You know
it
what?
up.
Hey, we're doing pretty good.
Yeah, we are doing pretty good.
Yeah.
So we have some very, very quick segments before we get into our closing words. We're going to do one. Do you have time to do a couple of rapid fire questions?
Sure.
Okay.
I don't know if I can answer them, but I'll do my best.
So we're going to do one of our favorite things to do on here is Family Feud does the fast money rounds. So we're going to give you a minute to answer how many questions?
5 questions.
5 questions.
Yeah, I got
and
the
you're going to
clock.
try to get
You got the clock?
I got the clock.
Sweet.
and you're going to try to
Perfect.
get the most common scores. So like let's say last week one of his questions was
Don't say it.
well I'm using it as an example is
Yeah.
what is a common name for a dog or a pet dog? And like the top answer was like Max.
So like supposedly.
like-
Okay, so what would you say? Like as a common name for a dog?
Oh gosh.
So it's like 100
people.
people are surveyed, and the results from the survey, like let's say Max had the most, you ask 100 people what's a common name for a dog, 40 of them say Max, right? If you say Max, then you get 40 points. But if you say a name that's less common, that less people, suggest as a common dog name, then you get less points. So that's kind of how it works.
I gotcha. I'm
Yeah.
so bad at game shows.
All right.
All right, hey, you know what? I like another one. All right, what's a popular fruit to eat in the morning?
Blueberries.
Okay, never mind.
So you would have gotten points.
See, that was on the list. That was on the list.
I said
Coach
pineapple.
Postel said pineapples. I don't really know
I
if
eat
that is
I have
a.
had them in the morning.
Listen, I'm not saying it'd be bad in the morning. I'm just saying
It's
that's
actually
not
delicious.
a common.
It
Well,
wakes
yeah.
you up. It wakes you up. Whatever.
All right. Well, instead of a Ghost Energy tomorrow, I'll bring you a pineapple.
Here we go.
I bet.
All right, so we're gonna put 1 minute on the clock.
You got it or me?
You got it.
Okay.
You got it.
You can have
Can I
it.
see that
No,
pen?
no.
Can I see that pen?
Yeah.
All right. Sweet.
You got it, Posto.
All right.
These
So
are easy.
1 minute on the
Oh,
clock.
they are. You get them.
So listen, the clock starts after I finish the first question.
Yeah.
And then, if you say answers that are on this list, I'll mark it and we'll tally up the points. You're trying to get 100 points. Okay?
I got you.
You think you're ready for this?
Maybe.
Okay.
I'm not good at games.
Don't be nervous. This is
All right.
I did it
And-
last
Family
and
breaks down the
listen.
games I run. I just don't.
And listen,
Yeah.
if you don't get the 100 points, don't be embarrassed because we've done this 4 times on the
Don't be
podcast
embarrassed,
and our
Richard.
record is 1-3.
We've only gotten it one time.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
no pressure at all.
You got it, brother Steven.
All right, Pastor Steven, you ready?
I'm ready.
All right, here we go. All right, the first question. An eye for an eye is one expression that contains the word I, E-Y-E, I. Name another.
Ooh, I don't know if I could do this.
The eyes have it.
Okay. All right, name the most annoying thing other drivers do on the road.
Another no, honking the horn. Is that right?
Okay. Name something that's filtered.
Water.
All right. Name something you find in a chef's salad.
Boiled eggs.
Okay. Name something associated with Zorro. It's a movie.
He's got a mask on his face.
Okay. All right. I'm going to go over the first couple questions since we have a little bit more time, right?
Let's give him a different
He's
one.
got 20 seconds.
Okay. Name the most annoying thing other drivers do on the road.
You said honking.
You said honk your horn.
They do the dirty finger sign. Whatever that is.
How much time do we
I've
got?
had that happen before.
5 seconds.
We can count that for number 2.
Yeah, okay.
Of course, this day and age, you'll pull a gun out. I mean, road rage.
All right.
That is the most annoying thing.
So, okay.
He said the bad finger sign.
All right. So, I'm going to have to go through these questions because it's hard for me, knowing that you have a minute on the clock, to read all the answer choices to see if what you answered is on there. So, the first question, which was difficult, I'm not going to lie, but this is the official. I think these questions were actually used on Family Feud. An eye for an eye is one expression that contains the word I. Name another. So, for example, the number one answer was beauty is in the eye of the beholder.
I would not have answered this question well.
Not either.
Number 2 was the apple of my eye.
Apple. That's a popular.
Number 3, is cross my heart, hope to die, stick a needle in my eye. Number 4, I have eyes in the back of my head. And number 5 is I've got my eye on you. So unfortunately,
I missed that one.
I think we missed that one.
That's
So
all
you know
right.
it's
Me and
okay.
Postel have both missed, totally missed. So
100%.
All right, the
I
second
don't get any of
question
these right.
was name the most annoying thing other drivers do on the road. You said honk your horn and then
Yeah.
the dirty hand signal.
Yeah.
All right, so the first answer was no signal when changing lanes. The second answer was cut you off. The third answer was drive under the speed limit. 4
In the
was
left lane.
following too close. 5 was talk on the phone. And 6 is just speed in general. So, to be honest, I'm surprised that just road rage wasn't just
let's give him 10 points for
You
that
know
because
what?
I think
Yeah.
that should be on there.
Give him
yeah
points.
plus
Heck
10.
yeah.
There we go. This is
20.
you know
It's all
this
how
is
you
our this is our
process these.
show.
Hey, this is our
This is our
Steve
show.
Harvey.
Our show.
Hey, shout out to
Steve
Jordan
Harvey,
Nickel.
come on to the show.
Shout out to Jordan Nickel. He doesn't go into where you make burgers and tell you how to make burgers.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
He just says that. Shout out Jordan Nickel.
Shout out
He's the
Jordan.
guy that edited our
LeBron
that
James.
LeBron, yeah, that LeBron James.
All of the lights, all of the lights.
That's right. All right. Name something that's filtered. You said water for 49 points.
Was that the number one? That had to be
That was the number one
Okay,
answer.
Good job.
That was
You,
the
you
number
might
one.
have
brother
got it
Steven.
just based off of that.
Yeah. All right. Name something you find in a chef's salad. You said boiled eggs. You get 10 points for that.
Yeah.
The number 1 answer was lettuce. The number 2 answer was ham. 3 was boiled eggs. 4 tomato. 5 cheese. 6 chicken. And 7 croutons.
See, I feel like lettuce is a cop out though.
Really?
Of course it has lettuce.
Boiled eagle.
Well,
a boiled egg fan.
No, I do a lot of chef salad, so the boiled eggs is always on top of it. So right. Lettuce is a giveaway.
You're asking. Look,
It's
you're
a salad.
asking 100 people what's one thing in a chef's salad. The majority of people are probably going to say lettuce.
Yeah.
But of course, the lettuce is the salad.
is
It's
the
not
salad.
in the salad. I disagree.
I actually
Now
agree with
that-
that. I agree with Duffy there.
I agree with that.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
It's like saying, like, what's one thing that's in a sandwich, and someone saying bread.
Bread. Correct. I'm with you on this. Yeah.
You know. All right. And then the last question. Name something associated with Zorro. I was pretty nervous about this one, but again, this is straight off of the official Family Feud website here. So I was like, you know what? Maybe he'll know what movie I'm talking about. And you did, which is good. And you got 13 points for Mask. Number 1 was Sword.
Cape.
Number 2 was Z. 4 was Cape. And then those were all the answers. So grand total. You know what? I don't think you got 100 points, but at the same time, it's like
You're close.
You're close.
That was one of the best fast money performances we've had on the show.
Amen to that.
It actually is.
That's a miracle.
Amen to that.
That's a
All
miracle.
right, so 10
It really
plus
is.
49 plus 10 plus 13. 82 is very respectable.
It is a
Yes.
respectable
82 is
score.
very respectable. Clap it up. Hey, clap it up. Clap it up. All right.
What was that?
Sorry, we're still experimenting with our little mini soundboard here.
Is that a new one you put on?
Well, I think there's preloaded sounds on there.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
All right, so I have some very quick this or that questions, and then we'll
And then
get
close
to
it up.
closing it
Yeah,
out.
We'll wrap it up.
All right, beach or mountains?
Gosh, beach.
Beach. All right, here's a controversial one. Is a hot dog a sandwich or not a sandwich?
I guess you could classify it as a sandwich. It's between bread.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
mean, that's
I
the
agree.
I never
argument.
thought about that before.
That's the argument, right?
All right, and then for this question, I want you to freely give the best trash talk if you want to. University of Florida or University of Georgia?
Florida. I have to because I was born in.
You both tell.
See, he's a true. You are a true Floridian.
I go
though.
back to the Charlie Pell days. If y'all don't even know who he was, but he was. This was like way back when. Yeah, I followed Florida for a decade.
See, and I respect that because
You have
you're
anything to
from
say about that,
Florida.
Posto? You look like you have something to say.
I don't want to say it.
Okay. That's
We're
fair.
on top right now.
No, I
Ride
don't
the
say
wave.
it. I don't say it.
That's what I say. Here's the thing: if you got the wave, ride it as long as you can, because the day's gonna come.
when it's yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, y'all's has been gone.
Since '96.
See, look, here he goes.
No,
Look,
well,
here he
more
goes.
recently than that.
See, here's the thing, like, and I tell kids all the time, it's like the kids, the Georgia fans today who are just brand new, like their biggest rival is like Alabama.
Really?
But for me, it's Florida.
Florida, yeah.
Because I lived through the Tim Tebow days, Urban Meyer days, and yes, I'm going to sound God bless. Okay.
Hey,
Even
shout
when he
out.
was at South Carolina,
The Brandon
we looked
Spike
this
days.
up. Yes, we looked this up. Did you know that Steve Spurrier, as a head coach, is 16-7 against Georgia?
Yeah, I believe that.
No, excuse me, 17-6 against Georgia.
Spurrier
I
just
believe
had
it.
he had an ability to get in people's head. He
Yeah.
could just
He
get
got
in
in Georgia's head a lot.
How many of those times were with South Carolina? Though?
I think it was half. Like he
Yeah.
lost 3 times to Georgia when he was at South Carolina. I'd probably say less when he was at Florida.
Yeah.
Because he was dominant when he was at Florida as a
Yeah.
player and as a coach.
So while we're on the topic, very quickly, Florida football, Tim Tebow. If we could get Tim Tebow on here, that would be
that'd be
awesome.
Tim Tebow, come on the pod, man.
All right,
Cough
so
up some money is all I can say.
yeah, no.
I mean,
Men's event
I'd pay
shout
him.
out, maybe.
No, it's not going to be a lot of money, but like I'll
I give
pay
him like
him
$20.
a piece. We'll give him 20 a
That's
piece.
$60.
We got this low country boy.
We'll make it worth
he
their
is
while.
He is from Florida. Well, Philippines, but Florida. And that'd be pretty cool as a
Hey.
guest. Men's
Pretty
event.
cool. That'd
We
be
made that?
super cool. We can make
All
that
right,
happen.
so okay, so before we close out, we had this question on here. In all the time that I've been around you, got to know you more really in the past year and a half or so, I think you're a very encouraging person, and I really appreciate that. So just for anybody listening, what are some words of encouragement that you have for our listeners?
You know, I've been thinking about that. The thing that just wears heavy on my mind would be, and I don't know if this is, I guess it could be advice / encouragement, but to live life with no regrets.
That's good.
You know, just live life with no regrets. When I have the platform to speak to students at all, I'm thinking about, you know, the decisions they make today could affect them 10, 20 years down the road, even a middle schooler, you know, even high school. So if you live life daily with no regrets, not looking back, gosh, I wish I would. We all have regrets. But if you kind of make it a goal to live life with no regrets, you know, that brings you joy, brings you no regrets, and a lot of times no repercussions, you know, that could have happened but didn't. And be a Jesus follower by all means. You can't go wrong following Christ. His way is perfect. His word is perfect. His will is perfect. Everything he is perfect.
Yeah.
So why would I not want to follow his will and way? I mean, really, it may not be what I want. I may not understand it at times, but he's perfect. Yeah. So if I do what he would have me to do and be what he had me to be, no matter how tough life can get, it's going to be good.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Thank you for that.
And as somebody, you know, who I've known my whole life,
Since 98.
Since 98, yeah.
That's right.
He was really my first hospital
Oh,
visit.
yeah, it really was.
Yeah.
I'd moved my stuff up here, was headed back to Florida. We moved our office stuff up here, and I learned that Lynn was in the hospital. I didn't know you people. I didn't know you at all. But I thought, you know what? I wanted them to know that I don't know you yet, but I love you already. And so you were my very first hospital visit, and here we are.
It really started with a bang.
Here we are on the podcast.
27
years later.
It's all led to this.
How time flies.
But like, as you know, encouragement. Like, I love this question that Duffy got for you. You know, just not as encouragement that you've given to me, but to my family, and we really appreciate it through. You know, with seeing you, you know, talk with Trey and Sam, through your encouragement when Sam passed away, through my dad and his, you know, being paralyzed and all, and his accident, and, you know, him going to Shepherd's. You know, funny you mentioned Shepherd's, how that place is really cool. Like, it's very inspiring to see really cool stories. And, like, if you ever go in their building, they have all these quotes of inspirational people who've gone to Shepherd's, and it's such a wonderful place, and they are the top of the line
Yes.
people, and they're like the top of the line in their craft, as from in the medical field.
Right.
And like they're the best of the best, and they do it with a smile on their face. They're very encouraging. Like my dad, to a point, didn't want to go home because he loved it so much.
Yeah.
And he loved also being around people who were like him.
Yeah.
And so that was something that he had got to go through as well. But just the encouragement pieces you've given to my family, and I appreciate it, Brother Stephen.
To God's glory. My blessing. My blessing. Indeed.
Yeah. Man, I genuinely have enjoyed the conversation that we've had with you.
Absolutely.
I cannot tell you how much I appreciate you coming and doing this with us.
Absolutely.
we all do.
I enjoyed it.
Thank you
Appreciate
very
you
much.
guys. And look, know that your mission field daily here in this school is incredible. It's huge. I always try to encourage our teachers and administrators. What you do is, there's no way to describe it. I remember some of my teachers made an impact in my life when, gosh, it was so dysfunctional at home. And sometimes school, sorry,
This is good.
it was the only place of refuge I had.
Yes, sir.
And I know y'all see that daily.
Yes, sir.
So just know that you're making a big impact, even on the football team. These guys that y'all know, you see they come from just different places, but it's huge. Your work is incredible. You're in a mission field. You're missionaries every day. I know you're teachers, but you got a mission here to be Christ before these kids and to give them stuff that they don't get elsewhere.
Yeah.
So hats
sir.
off to you.
Yeah.
You're doing a great work.
Yes, sir.
As
And
Nehemiah
again,
would say, stay on the wall, don't come down.
well, thank you so much
Thank-
for being on
seriously,
the
thank you.
podcast this afternoon. We
Yeah.
appreciate it very
And,
much.
And also thank you to Miss Lisa for letting them do this.
Yes.
Appreciate you. The
she's
goat
good.
of all goats, Miss Lisa.
That's right.
All right. Any last closing statements?
Me?
I'm
Yeah.
good. Yeah.
All right. Hey, like I said, I appreciate that. I mean, we could sit and talk about what you just said for another hour. But again, thank you for coming
Indeed.
with us. So
My blessing.
All right. Let's send it off.
Are you ready?
Ready?
Or we're going to mess this up again. Wherever or whenever you are listening to this podcast, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. And as always, do good, be good,